Shalom, first and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rukal Kadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone and teaching this truth and sincerity. And shout out to Yakim, it's out there in the four quarters of the earth, still proclaiming this truth. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rukal Kadosh, Barak Atum. And so, yeah, Donald Trump says mission accomplished, right? Yeah, that they're pulling out of Syria. But you know as well as I do, the main reasons for this happening is not because he won the war against ISIS, but merely because he got chased off, as Isaiah chapter 17 said, that before the whirlwind at evening tide, that they'd be chased off as a chaff. You know, and we're very close to that evening tide of the whirlwind, which is the thermonuclear destruction. And also, you and I both know, though, that the prophecy of Damascus falling, and of course of Persia, Magog, and Libya, and all of them fighting, that is a valley of Yehoshaphat, that other things have to pass first. And that is the mark of the beast. The RFID implant has to be made mandatory worldwide before World War III can really continue. So a sifting is about to happen. That is, those that have been on fire for this and those that are not on fire for it are going to be spewed out. You don't want to be sifted out. You don't want to be among that. You know, that's why, you know, you got to still keep on pushing as hard as you can to push out this word, because we haven't much time left. Now that you've seen an actual withdrawal from Syria, and this one looks like it's an actual one, and so you know that later the Damascus prophecy will happen. But first the mark of the beast will be pushed. And with that, you know, among the sifting, a lot of our people are going to take the mark because, you know, it's kind of funny that a born-again Christian can figure out that the mark of the beast is the RFID, but yet 2/3 of our people want to argue and say that it's something else that has nothing to do with the microchip. Well, that's because the Most High is doing some sifting, you know. You didn't believe Yahushai was when he was here teaching, you know, and you pretty much wanted to stay in that idolatry. You know, you want to live as the Egyptian, and modern-day Egyptian is America. You know, people just, they still want to celebrate Christmas, even though they've been told it's wrong. You know, they've been told that it's idolatry, and they already know that the real image of Yahushai is not the one that we've been told, but they still want to hold on to the name, even though they know that the image doesn't match. But keeping the name is still keeping the image. You know, it's really no different. You know, that's why the elect of us call upon the names, the real names, Yahweh, Yahushai. And so, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to read out of Luke chapter 22, verse 29. And I will appoint unto you a kingdom as my Father hath appointed unto me, that you may drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. You know, and that's talking about Peter, who really is King David, and the house of David being built up. But what's going to happen? And the Lord Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. You know? So, in other words, what's going to happen is that, you know, those that really are not sincere about this, Satan's going to have his way. But I have prayed for thee, that thy faith fail not. And when thou art covered, strengthen my brethren. And that's what we're to do. We're to follow in the ways of Peter and keep this house of David going. And still keep on feeding the sheep. You know, if you love me, feed my sheep. And how do we do that? By coming out here proclaiming this truth. No matter what time of season it is. You know, no matter what. You know, no matter how bad the weather is, you know, but we still come out here. No matter how much they scoff at us. And he said unto him, Lord, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, I am ready to go with thee, both into prison and to death. And that's the way you got to be, you know. You could be locked up for this thing. It happened to the apostles. They got locked up. You know, the devil, Esau, accused them of having something to do with 9/11. And they had nothing to do with that, but that's just it, though. They had to go through that. That was part of the trial. And again, you know, that was just it, but they faltered not, you know. So sifting is happening among Israel today, and, you know, mostly because there are a lot that don't want to keep the song of 144, you know? But the ones that are meant to be here are still going to be here. Revelation chapter 14, verse 2. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder, and I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. You know? And that's just it, though, is that, you know, at one time you were just tuning in your guitar to play along with this song, or whatever instrument you might have. But, you know, we're instruments, you know, we're echoing the song, you know, and we have to stay tuned up for this, and we have to continue to sing the song, our part in the song. These are they which were not defiled with women. That means other philosophies. For they are virgins, meaning that we don't go into other philosophies. We're not having a reunion camp with those that aren't teaching the truth. The only ones that we will be united with are those that are in the truth, the 100% truth. They are they which follow the Lamb wheresoever he goeth. These were redeemed from the earth among men, being the firstfruits unto Yahweh and unto the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know, so in other words, pretty much as the sifting is going on, you want to be among those that you know, wasn't found any guile. You know, but a sifting has to happen. And everybody knows now, it's not even controversy anymore, that the United States has everything to do with the terrorism that be in the Middle East. Hamath and Arpad being confounded. And that is by their terrorist proxies. You know, ISIS ain't defeated. ISIS has been protected the entire time. There's still that same number among ISIS. Still around 33,000 between Iraq and Syria. And Turkey considers the PKK part of it, and it really is. The PKK is a part of ISIS. They've been protecting ISIS. They're all molded into one, better known as the proxies. They use these same proxies to try to bring down Saddam Hussein before the United States actually, you know, did take out Saddam Hussein. Same tactics they've been using with Bashar al-Assad. But what happened, though, is they got chased off by Gomer, which is Turkey. They didn't want a full conflict with Gomer yet. So they got pretty much driven out. You know, pretty much they tucked their tail in and they ran away from Turkey. Because, of course, Turkey was about to wreak havoc. You've seen the heavy machinery they were bringing in. So pretty much they did what they had to do. And Donald J. Trump lied to everybody and saying that ISIS is defeated, when in fact ISIS was protected by the United States. Because ISIS is the United States. It's really the Israeli Secret Intelligence Services, which is their proxies to go to war. They used to call it Al-Qaeda. Shit, they have so many names of terrorist groups, so they just mold it all into one, calling it ISIS. And pretty much, you know as well as I do that there was a tattoo of the Marines found on an ISIS member. So, U.S. Marines found on an ISIS member, which just proves what we've been saying all along. That the United States is ISIS, you know, and among all other terror groups, you know, and who really is using chemical weapons against their people. You could take a look into the skies on a clear day, and you can see the chemtrails. So who is using these chemical weapons against their people? The United States, which is pretty much Esau, Edom. They're the ones that are using weapons of warfare against the people. They have polluted this place. They have destroyed everything. And yet, 2/3 of our people still want to celebrate in its festivities. You ain't even got enough to pay the rent, but yet you're still going to try to find one way or another to even celebrate so-called Christmas. You know, you got the tree in your house and you got all these gifts, but you can't afford it. You can't even pay the light bill. Your rent's overdue. But you're going to still try to go out and shop. All for what? For vainglory. For things that you're just going to throw away later. You know as well as I do that you don't need any of this stuff, but you go out and you do it anyways. Why? Because you're accustomed to Egypt. You want to stay in Egypt. You still want to build that golden calf. That golden calf is the entire beast image. The image of the beast that both speaks and causes all that would not worship is pretty much Esau, Edom. They want all the worship and the power. So they have the god of money. And that's what this is all about. But you see, Esau's going to send it crashing down. He's about to crash the system on purpose to go to that wireless currency, to that, pretty much digital currency, to where you don't even need a card anymore. You just use your hand. And not to mention the brain chips. All these things are out there. And soon it won't be even voluntary. Be prepared for martial law after this. Warnings have been going up about that too. He's preparing martial law. Why? Because more false flags. Expect more false flags to really kick off this thing this next year. The next year, 2019, being the year that Esau pushes the mark of the beast, the RFID implant. So be prepared. For all that, I want to say, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakal Brakatum. Repent while you still have time. Make sure you're still on fire for this thing, or else you be spewed out. Shalom.